It's always informative.
That's
What's
all there. Well, I got a couple rays of hope. Um,
ah
and I just got to do one shout out to Tabitha in the chat. Yes, Tabitha, I did go to Villanova, class of '92. So for all us,
mm,
and Kristen, partial Philly folks over there. But yeah, I was just looking. I didn't see up mildly. I saw Bill Devers put a couple of openings in there. But yeah, do you want to throw up the slides, Jen, and we'll get to it? I've got our usual little bit of challenging news, but then two ideas that might bring a ray of hope this morning. So anyway,
It's
so let's
Kristen
just
doing it
look at.
today, Owen. So just bear with me. There will
Oh, okay,
be there will
Kristen.
be user error. Go ahead.
I'm sure you're better than I am. I'm historically, can ask anybody inside of S&P. I'm historically horrible at PowerPoints while presenting. So this is our bid ask spread for the past couple of weeks. It's on the mortgage-backed securities market. I show these every week. Um, this is this chart moves in ticks. So this is about 60 basis points up and down in the pricing, not in the rate, but in the pricing. And an upward movement is a downward movement in rate, and a downward movement. This chart's inverse. So you can see we're pretty well hanging out in the same 50 basis points with the same news. We caught a little bit of a rally earlier in the week, Monday, Tuesday on some optimism about Iran, and then it, kind of gassed out yesterday. We're in the same spot. It's the same story. I can't recall a time in my career where one story has so dominated, unless we were in like an existential financial crisis, like just after COVID started, when they thought the whole economy was going to shut down, or for those older people like me that were in it in 2007 through 2010 with the financial crisis. But this is absolutely driving our market, and will continue to drive. I think some people are looking forward. The new Fed chair hasn't made a lot of public comments, but he's speaking tomorrow in Jackson Hole, and they have a big economic summit out there. The Federal Reserve does. So he'll be speaking. A lot of eyes and ears are going to be on his public comments. I think that speech is going to be very, very watched, and I'm sure very, very, every word is being considered and washed. I don't think we're going to get any news out of that, but you never know anytime you put a mic in front of an economic official. So let's go to the next slide and take a look at where the prognosticators are thinking the Fed is going to go. The next Fed meeting is about 3 weeks away. If we could get to the next slide. So right now, the bet is 60-40 that rates are going to stay the same. I think with the very tame job numbers, negative job numbers for the last report, minus 23,000 jobs with over 100,000 downward revisions. And the PCE, which is the Fed's preferred indicator of inflation, was a little bit hot. But the consumer price index, the producer price index, the other two reports were very, very tame and have been tame for several months. So that's kind of flipped back now. About 60% of the people are betting it's going to stay the same. 40% of the people are betting up. That only slightly changes for the October meeting. So, if they do raise, they're probably going to raise in October, but we'll see. I don't think it's going to, a 25 basis point increase from the Fed, to be honest, will probably cause the market to rally, because the bond vigilantes know that the Fed is paying attention to the underlying inflation. If inflation is 3.5% and they want it to be 2%, it doesn't sound like a big deal. But if you do the math over time, it actually is meaningful. So that's something you have to watch. So, let's go to the next slide for a second and just take a look at what this is doing to our marketplace. So purchase application is in light blue, refinance is in black, and so you can see we're at low levels right now for the year. So it's a little bit tough out there. We're actually seeing lower levels than we saw in January. Of course, in January, we had lower rates. That's not something that you see very often. But this is something that, you know, we're going to have to work through. And I think it's a shock. I'm not saying it's going to go down and down for the rest of the year, but I do think that, you know, this is where we're at. And much like 2022, 2023, 2024, you just got to work through it. And the good news is the prospecting, you know, a lot of people are down in the dumps, sour in the mouth about it, and they kind of quit. And that creates opportunities for people that don't quit. So for someone who's diligent, this is a wide open space, and you know, the cash out refis are still an opportunity because you know what hasn't changed? Interest rates on credit cards. You know what else hasn't changed? American spending habits. So those opportunities are still definitely out there, as well as some purchase opportunities. As you guys know, especially in Florida, some areas of the Southeast, some areas of Texas, experiencing a whole lot of listings right now. So there is some definite opportunity. If we could hit the next slide. So here's two things that I got for you. And Carl and I think, are doing another one of our webinars on September the 1st. I don't know if any of you guys have been on the webinar, but we talked about, and I showed you that co-branded pre-qual hotline. This thing is on fire. Carl, I don't even think I told you this. Last Friday or Thursday, we did a webinar and we only invited realtors. We had our loan officers just invite their realtors based upon the co-branded website. We had 46 realtors hop on, and 24 of them, more than 50%, signed up before the end of the seminar. You know, actually went to a website, filled out the form, put in their ticket to get signed up. And we basically called the loan officer and be like, hey, you now have 2 new referral partners and your number's going to go live in 24 hours. So, you know, if you guys are interested in hopping on the webinar on September the 1st, some of these tools that we have, we are just knocking the cover off the ball. You know, the business is still out there. The realtors are feeling it too. So if you can come to a realtor right now and talk to them about increasing the amount of prospects that they have, trust me, they need it just as much as you need it, if not probably more. Because I love all my realtor friends out there, but as you know, I've never met a realtor that doesn't spend 25% above what their gross commission income stream is. So this product is just absolutely on fire right now in, you know, producing about $100 million a month in some potential prospect activities, putting new prospects in front of our loan officers. So if we can go to the next slide, here is the one other possible, this is just so you guys know how it works. The borrower calls the phone number, the realtor's introduced into the experience. Both the borrower and the realtor get information about the call. This is somebody who raises their hand and says, I want to know if I can qualify for a mortgage. These are the exact kind of calls that everybody wants to get. And the great thing about it is the system automatically promotes the loan officer to the borrower and the realtor. It notifies the realtor via text every time a call comes in. Hey, I've just given you another referral. Please check your email to make sure you follow up. It's great, great subliminal advertising. And then I've got one more kind of prediction. I don't know if you guys are watching this, but the director of the FHFA has been back active on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. He kind of took a break while he was running the DNI, the Department of Intelligence, and that's another story. I don't want to get sidetracked with it, but a lot of people in Washington are whispering about the possibility of movement from the FHFA or the FHA about a MIP reduction. Remember, the FHA federal funds pool is funded 5 times above where it statutorily needs to be. And Fannie and Freddie, in an effort to maybe get spun out of conservatorship, have been hanging on to all of their considerable profits over the last 6 years. And they have a fair amount of firepower if they wanted to do something. So there's a lot of speculation about a potential lowering of LLPAs or different things like that to kind of make buying a house more affordable and not being on the left or on the right or the Democrats or the Republicans, no matter what channel from which you get your news. I think everybody can see the political reality of the party in power needing a good talking point going into the midterm elections. So there's a lot of people that feel that we might see something from Director Pulte on LLPAs that will significantly reduce closing costs. And here he kind of confirmed it about 4 or 5 days ago on X with a late night tweet. We are nearing the end of our review of certain LLPAs, decisions coming soon. So we'll see. Watch what you might get from the FHFA. You never know. I normally am not a fan of government intervention because whatever you get, you always get a hangover when the program ends. But I don't think anybody would be opposed to some good news right now.
Hey, Owen, I got a question for you. Is
Yes,
there
sir.
any correlation? Like, I always enjoy watching this because just honestly, if I can be transparent, I've always been a marketing guy and really never spent that much time, with the bonds and the rates and what drives it back and forth. And which is, why
Mm-hmm.
partnering up with you 15 years ago was a very good thing for Carl, right? But does it help or is it not effective at all? I know one thing I do follow the like the stock market and the treasury bills and how they all relate to the interest rate that we're quoting every day is not my strong point, but following my money is. Does it help that like the stock market is just on a rip and Nvidia gave their earnings report yesterday and it was very positive and everybody got a lift by that. Does that like with the American economy being so good, or at least the corporations, does that reflect in all this, or does that really have nothing to do with it?
I do think I mean, we're getting a level deeper. I'm not a professional market interpreter. So, everybody, you got to
You
call
know,
your
my question
financial planner.
is with it being on
Yeah,
a rip, with it being on a rip, does that kind of soften what's happening in the strait as far as like how it affects mortgage rates? Like, is that help or it's not related at all?
I don't think it's related at all. I think the
Okay.
only way it's related is this. Historically, bonds and stocks were a hedge against one another. So if stocks were doing very, very well, that kind of came at the expense of the bond market. Less people would buy bonds. And when the economy kind of sucked and the stock market was going down, bonds would rally and
Okay.
interest rates would go down. And so the two would feed off each other. I would argue that that's been disconnected for about 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
I don't think one drives the other anymore. I think another thing that's hurting the bond market is I think there's been something like $1.4 trillion of market, $1.4 trillion of corporate bond issuance, meaning large companies like Google just did a $300 billion capital raise from the bond market to build data centers and invest in their AI. I think it's 200 billion or 300 billion. Well, 1.3 trillion, that starts to crowd out people
Mm-hmm.
that would buy government bonds, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So normally a corporate bond from a really well-run company might get 1%, 1.5% more interest rate than the 10-year. But people are buying corporate bonds, that's a lot of supply. And
Yeah.
when the supply is outstripping demand, you got to raise the price of the interest rate to bring back some demand. So I think it's those things more than the stock market.
Mhm.
Again, not an expert.
No, I hear you.
5 years ago, I would have given you a different answer, but I think the two are kind of disconnected now.
Very interesting. Hey, and just one last thing I want to bring everybody's attention. Owen's kind enough to sponsor him and I started working on a newsletter, and I think most of you heard this. I don't a newsletter. That's probably the wrong word. It's like a morning brief. And so Owen's been sending me a little snapshot of the numbers, are the percent of applications up for refis versus purchase, what the average rate is being quoted nationwide. And I've always thought this is good news, not just because it's nice to know, but it let me know what to focus on. Like if I saw that refi rates were up, I'm sorry, refi applications were up, and then I'd look at my own numbers, like in our branch, and I see they're not up, then I'm going, all right, we need to kind of make sure that we're focusing on the refis because somebody's getting it. And just
Right.
because I'm not
Yep.
marketing my database, it doesn't mean they're not doing it. It means they're not doing it with us, right?
Right.
And so knowing that information is really, really, really good information. And then, so then I started adding in this a little blip to it about like what those numbers mean today and how you can use that in your marketing. And it's literally like a little short 2-minute read, and it's absolutely free. One caveat to this: the service that we're using that emails this out, the program that we're signed up with, if I remember right, caps off at 5,000, which sounds like a big number, but this thing is really started to go really fast. I think at last count, I think it was like we had like 1,800 registered so far, like in the last 2 weeks. And so this is not get it now, or you'll never be able to get this. But when it caps at 5,000, we're either going to have to move it to another platform or we're going to have to do something different. And so I would recommend that you get in now. We were originally thinking about like, frankly, just doing this as a subscription model and, doing a little revenue generation to help offset some of the cost of like Breakfast Club and some of the other things that Owen and I do. And we just sat and thought, look, this is just too good of information. Let's just give it away. So if you go to beyondtheratesheet.com, just tell us where to send it every morning and we'll send it out. So it's a pretty good thing. I appreciate you helping us out with this, Owen.
I think it's great. It's good information. It's meant to help everybody, give you a couple of talking points, and I would highly recommend it.
Yeah.
It's something Carl and I, and when I say Carl and I, mostly I mean Carl, have worked on, and
I would say mostly
it's
Owen.
good stuff.
It's funny you find your part easy. I find my part easy, and that's why it works out so well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, go check that out. And by the way, if you've registered for it and you're not getting it, go check your spam folder. I think like 80% is getting into the inbox, and there's always that 20%. So actually, when I first signed
Hey,
up,
Carl,
it was coming in on my spam my spam folder too.
I don't know if you saw that, but Mark Adwell put in the chat. He presented that co-branded product to 7 realtors yesterday. Did a sample call, and they all signed up.
Oh,
7 for 7.
it's like the biggest no-brainer ever. Like it's really, really, really good way for attracting, and it doesn't cost anything. I mean, well, I shouldn't say that. The cost is not related to the loan officer. So it's
Or the realtor.
yeah, or the realtor. Yeah, having an attraction model is a very, very, very good thing to do. So I like, and the other thing I like about this is the leads that come in, you get notified first. Like you don't have to rely on
Hmm.
somebody. Well, I'll get this over to Stephen when I have time. It's late at night. I'll do it in the morning, and then that never happens. It's like you're
And
the one that gets
it
it
totally
first.
eliminates the whole 3 card thing. Call one of
Yeah,
these people, and it just
yeah,
puts you in a different sales position.
yeah. Good stuff. So,
Mm. Hey, I got
uh,
a quick. I know Brad's got his hand up, but I got a quick question. And maybe we've talked about this before. It's just a random weird question. Why Jackson Hole? How come that's the spot?
You know, I I don't know. It's a little bit like my opinion doesn't matter in any of this, right? Nobody really cares. But for my 2 cents, I don't know why these bankers, whether it's Davos in February or Jackson Hole in August, like why don't they go? I think they'd be much better served going someplace where regular people go,
Right?
right? Like
That's what I'm
why don't
saying.
they have the
Like,
convention in Phoenix
there you go.
or
Atlanta.
Chicago or
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
something. Charlotte.
Frank, have you ever been
You
to
know,
you ever been to Jackson Hole?
Driven through it.
Yeah, it's a very swanky city. And like if you're looking to find a good Stetson hat, that's where you're going to find. It's kind of like a Rodeo Drive of Wyoming, I guess, you know. So
Okay.
it's beautiful, man. It's look,
Yeah.
if we were going to have a in fact we have had a meeting there. So we had one of our mastermind, the Freedom Club, we met in Jackson Hole because it's just
Katie White's in the chat saying, I remember going to Jackson Hole in August for the Freedom Club event.
it is gorgeous. Like it's really pretty. Not the easiest place to fly into. You know, you're gonna have a hub somewhere. Almost nobody goes
Sure.
direct there.
Yeah.
But if you ever go there, you go, I know exactly why they're doing that.
Okay. All right. Did you buy a Stetson hat?
I well, my daughter did. She bought
There you go.
a Stetson hat. Yeah.
I heard those are super cheap.
Yeah.
So, Brad, what do you got?
So Owen, I'm glad you mentioned the MIP. I hope you can advocate for that to go down to a quarter of a point. And the other thing is that when you were talking about your hotline, what
yes,
is
sir.
what is the realtor signing up for? And someone also asked the question: do you have to be a working for your company?
Yeah, you do have to work with us in order to get it.
Yeah.
I feel strongly that we develop these tools. Where I'm in the mortgage business. I'm not in the software sales business.
Yeah.
That's a totally different business. It's a great business to be in, but it's not my business.
Yeah.
So we develop tools and we just have it for our loan officers, and they're fantastic. What the realtor signs up for is a telephone number. Like Brad, if you had it and you sold it,
Oh,
you go out to a realtor and you say, hey, do you want to do this co-branded 24/7 pre-qual hotline? And everybody that calls the number, you and I both get notified they're interested in buying a house. And it
it's a unique phone number
categorizes
for them. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
And you. So if you have your own pre-qual hotline, and then if
Right.
you had a dozen realtors signed up for it, you would actually have 13 phone numbers, one for yourself and one for
One
each
for
of
one
your
for each realtor.
relationships.
And you say
Correct.
24 of them signed up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Over
just
50%. Yeah.
just on a 45-minute seminar. Yeah, over
Wow.
50% signed up.
Good for you.
And we had about 10 signups after the seminar. More than 50% signed up while the seminar was going on.
And are they getting
Oh.
are they getting leads?
They're all getting leads. We have a lot of follow-on things like open house templates and sign riders and all that stuff. But the best thing is it gives you an excuse to get the realtor's database. If you can get the realtor's database, we can produce so far early returns, at least 10 more phone calls per month to that telephone number.
Yep.
Even if the realtor just has like a 300 or 400 person database, we only need name, email address, and cell phone number. And we can produce the leads for them because we dump that into our CRM, and we've got all kinds of automatic drip campaigns. And the loan officers don't have to do anything. Our marketing team does it all for them.
Wonderful.
Hey, but let me tell you something, Brad. One thing that I recommend doing, I go to a lot of company conferences and I sign up. Like there's a gentleman in California, runs a mortgage company and he does webinars. I think it's once a week, something like that. Dude, I go listen into all of them because the idea is go see what other people are doing, and then I come back. In my case, I come back to Owen and say, "Hey, man, I just went to Jim Parker's, the thing that they're doing, and dude, let me tell you what they're doing." And Owen goes, "Wow, that's a great idea, right?" So I recommend, no matter what your situation is, come watch these things, and to see it's good to see what other people are doing. I guarantee you, Mr. Honda is walking on to Mr. Chevrolet's car lot from time to time. Like that's a totally cool thing to do. It is. It's a totally cool thing to do. I do it all the time, and there's no hard feelings. Like we strongly recommend doing that. Yeah. In
I
fact, in
just
the
think
Freedom
that
Club,
idea is I think that idea of yours and Owen's is just incredible.
well, it was all my idea. No, it was
Of
Owen's
course,
idea. Owen
whoever,
came up with it. So
whoever.
I just know a good idea when I see it, and so I latched onto it like a tick to a hound dog. So
Well, whoever's idea it was, it's on fire right now.
And I'm
yeah,
not sure who the tick is or who the hound dog is,
yeah,
but
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what happened. All right. Thank you, Owen Lee, everybody.
Hey,
Always appreciate
before
it. Before what?
before we wrap up, I gotta give a special shout out to my friend Katie White. Great picture from your phone
Yeah,
in the chat.
That's cool.
Absolutely love it, Katie. I hope you're doing well and have a great day.
Hey, we don't have time to share it today, but Owen, about 3 or 4 years ago, Katie and I are checking into the same hotel, and
Uh-huh.
at separate times, she's already there. They give me a key to the room. I think it's my room. They thought we were husband and wife. We're not related. So I got the key. It was here in Clear. I got the key. I'm walking over the elevator to go up, and at the last second, it's late at night, like it's like midnight, right? At the last second, I thought, you know what? I'm going to drive home and spend the night with my lovely bride, and I'll just get up extra early in the morning, and drive back to the hotel then. And so I turned around and went back. And then when I went there the next day, I found out I had the key to Miss Katie's room and not Mr. White's room. And some little guardian angel, as I was walking to the elevator, said, "Let's go home."
Let's
So
let's spare Katie.
I always heard that the MMA events were full service.
yeah.
So,
Right.
Well, the moral of the story is I saved her from having a heart attack. Well, both
Yeah,
of us, frankly,
exactly.
both of us.
And Carl from getting a black eye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, me getting a black eye.
Did she
So
get
I
into
thought
her
that-
room?
I did not, but I
that's
swear
good
I was
stuff.
walking to the
Did
elevator.
she get into her room?
Oh,
She
yeah,
was.
she
was,
had
and
her
I'm
key.
assuming she was
Yeah.
asleep. I would have scared the bejesus out of her.
And I got a gift basket for Carl White.
And she got a gift basket. I was wondering where that bottle of bourbon went. Now I know. That's funny.
How were those cigars, Katie?
It was just fruit. I was disappointed.
All right, let's get out of here, you guys. Thanks for everything. Thank you, Owen. Super appreciate you. Blessed to have you here as always. man. You
Hey,
guys have
if
a
you want
great
more
day,
information on that,
everyone.
hey, if you want more information on that co-brand rod, go to carlsofficetour.com, carlsofficetour.com, and we're going to walk you through it, I think, on Tuesday, something like that. So
Throw it in the chat. Yep, we got it there. Good.
Oh, cool.
And then we'll hang out for a while.
Yeah.
So carlsofficetour.com, my friends.
what you doing this weekend, Frank?
Well, this weekend, I'm going to ride a motorcycle. And I rode a
Where you
motorcycle
going?
last weekend.
Where are you going?
Last weekend, I went to the coast with Brenda. It was really nice. It was
Nice.
great. The weather on the coast, fantastic. You get back
course.
into Vacaville and you're boiling, right? But
Always.
it was great. This weekend, I'm going to head up to the mountains. I'm going to head up toward Tahoe and hook up with my buddy.
Oh, can
I
I
love
please
it.
spotlight Carl? I need to see this little
All
guy.
right, all right. We're doing it. We're
You
doing
want to
it.
see? You want to see?
Oh,
Look at that handsome devil.
That is one handsome dude. And he had Mickey herself cut his hair here, 4 or 5 days ago, something like that. So we all went to Disney, and they do a really, they do a really, really cool thing there. Like the way they do it is really special. So I tell you, Disney, if you ever want to learn marketing and how service is done, that's a great place to see. So you want to
are
wave
you
hi, buddy?
clapping?
Say hi.
Hi, buddies.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
Anyway.
Good stuff. Anyway,
All right.
Awesome. Thanks, brother. All right, everybody,
Thanks,
have a
Mike.
great day. We'll catch up with you all tomorrow with Chris Johnstone. See you guys later. Adios.
Have a wonderful day, everybody.